Welcome to this panel discussion, and I have to put something in writing, otherwise I'll start talking and go up to 6 o'clock. One thing which is not on my paper I will say, I was talking chair with the others, we don't talk enough on good subjects in this country. You will find debates and talk on serious subjects to open the mind of people is lacking. And I try to organize something, but it never works out. I don't know why. If it is because of the little gadget and all. But talking and discussing is how we enrich our mind. So let me welcome you all this evening. My name is Bernardin Renaud. I'm a judge of the Court of Appeal. And as the Ambassador High Commissioner said, there will be a program for 1 year to cover this celebration. 150th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. And I'm sure these activities we start from this one, and I'm sure others people will find more interest. So as part of the celebration, we are having this panel discussion. It will be simply that each panelist is free to express any facet of what they feel about their own perspectives, of the principles and philosophies of the Mahatma Gandhi, whom as we know is revered as the father of the nation India. And he is also known as Mahatma Gandhi, that was one, if not the most influential personality of India that India has ever produced. I don't know, there might be others. So the panel comprised of the speakers, as I said, they come from different walks of life. You will hear them and you will see their different experience. They'll speak for a few minutes, and after their talk, allow them to talk. We'll make a presentation, all the panelists first, and then we'll take question and answer, maybe interjection from the audience also. Now, those present, what I don't do is paraphrase lectures or presentation of eminent people. Each one of you can take your own notes and prepare your own question if you want. And at the end, I'll say a few words, if that is all for. Let me share with you that the little that I have come to know about Mahatma Gandhi is from my reading and rereading of the book entitled, most recently I have read it, the book entitled The Life and Death of Mahatma Gandhi, written by the English author Robert Payne. For me, it's a balanced book, a bit of both sides of Gandhi. We know Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was the son of a high official in an obscure princely court who received from the poet Rabindranath Tagore the title of Mahatma. I think this was when he started having this special title. And as you know, some people proclaim him to be a Messiah. Some say he is the half-brother of Buddha or Christ. And some say he possesses divine attributes, wholly selfless and devoting his life to the good of humanity. These are some views. And those who believe this, as you know, would kneel before him and would touch his feet or wait for days at a railway station in the hope of catching a glimpse of him as he strayed past in the night, especially in the second part of his life. For me, I have to spread the life of Gandhi in two parts for us to appreciate it. And to appreciate it, you must also situate Gandhi. We are in 2018. Turn back the years and then reassess. This is how we have to assess Gandhi. The years, the place, think about India of those days, how he did his best to get a law degree. English civilization in those days, the South African situation in those days. And then you start appreciating what he did. Then it is said that Gandhi showed that non-violence resistance was at least as powerful as guns. This we know is through his inner strength, developing inner strength. Once you have this, it's more powerful than the gun. All his life, he threw himself into battle with the vigor of a young athlete. Various battles, not physical, but he freed his life his own personal life, his family life, education, everything. It was a battle. Where he lived, where he studied in England, he was battling with circumstances. In South Africa, as you know, he battled through out his time in South Africa. What I like, even invited one of our neighbors from Mauritius to be part of his battle. And what is it? Tommy Naidu, I think was the guy. And he said, again, when we talk about non-violence, he said, I love storms, he once said, and he was never comfortable, he said, unless the lightning was playing and the thunder was roaring in his ears. He wanted action, he wanted action. The storms gathered at the end of his life, and he saw India. That's the most crucial part for Gandhi. He saw India torn apart into two bleeding fragments. And we have known that this fight for Hindu-Muslim unity was doomed to failure. You know, even in South Africa, he had this problem. So the agony of his last days was terrible to watch. To the very end, he struggled against the partition of his country. Yet, he had set the wheel in motion. That is a crucial aspect of Gandhi. He set the wheel in motion. You cannot see Gandhi started. You must see that he started and how the wheel turned. The agony of his last days was terrible to watch, as I said. To the very end, he struggled against the partition of his country. Yet, he had set the wheel in motion, and his triumph were at least as memorable as his failures. He had so many failures also. He brought freedom and independence to India, and he changed men's minds. You know, this idea of bringing freedom of India, we just speak about it. But we must understand, all of us must understand, what was India in the days of Gandhi? What was the high and might of those who ruled India? And one lonely man with a stick and a long cloth, fighting an empire. And it reminds me of the march that Gandhi was set upon to undertake on behalf of the Indians in South Africa. He went twice to England to negotiate. There he thought he got a good deal with Sir Elgin or Chamberlain. When he came down to South Africa, Smuts were telling him everything is okay. But then afterwards it was not okay. He kept struggling, and he ended up with a good beating when he tried to organize for this question of passes. Now, permit me, I'm not getting involved in partisanship or whatever, but I would like to say this. To realize that what happened in India in those years of Gandhi is happening again today. But it is in the reverse. When I was refreshing myself on the part of Gandhi and his work, it happened that one evening I was seeing the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom struggling. So what is happening? Poor lady, she was struggling to be in or out of European Union. What he was trying to negotiate his way out or in out the European Union. When I was looking at this every evening when I watched the news, I said, look at this. Over 100 years ago, it was different. It was a poor man who has put aside all his money and everything, only with a long cloth and a bamboo stick, who was fighting an empire where the sun never set. And they were riding, because they ride the waves, so they ride the whole world. And one man, and one man alone, was standing against the empire. This negotiation is happening today. Poor lady, one lady, is trying to negotiate her way out of a situation in Europe. can you see the comparison, how the world turns round and comes back to where it was at a point in time. And I said to myself, as Mr. Shah was saying here, explain to us what happened, the way Gandhi did it. The only thing, if we can tell, I said this is my view, Mr. Nizami, why don't you read about Gandhi and use those principles to sort yourself out of European Union? So when Gandhi said he used all the means to bring down the Raj, is for me similar to the situation that's happening to the world today. The Gandhi that we know, as far as I'm concerned, was made out of 4 situations. You know, when he was young, he was sent to school. And there in school, he said he was not allowed to use Gujarati to study. He was forced to study in English, and this put him back. 1. So he started forming the Mahatma. Then he went to UK to become a lawyer. And before he went there, he took a vow not to eat meat. The vow, the mother took him to the priest, the Hindu priest. So he has to keep the vow. That is one thing with Gandhi, when he takes vow or take oath, he has to stick to this. Do or die, he must stick to it. And he suffered in England, how he struggled for him to become a lawyer. That is the second aspect of Gandhi, coming from a civilization into a new civilization, trying to adapt. He came back to India, but then in South Africa, where he was trying to get these old Indian people to live differently in a different setup. He struggled first with his own people. He struggled with himself, and at the end of the day, he went back to India. That was the latter part of his life. After amassing the way he was molded at school in India, with his training as lawyers in England, his life in England, and so on and so forth, he suffered when he went back to India. But then he experienced collected in South Africa. And mind in South Africa, Gandhi at one point in time was a nurse. He was a sergeant major of the reservists, you know. And I thought that was a long time. He was for 1 month only. He went to the battlefield when the British was fighting the Zulus. And I think he thought the Zulus were the enemy of the Indians. But he became friends. This is what he learned things. And what Mr. Shah said, things that formed his life. When he was in jail, he had the 4 books, the Upanishad, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, and the Holy Bible. He read about all these things. So he became a man of all religion. And he said the greatest thing that made him suffer most was the split between Hindu and Muslim. And he struggled with this, and he knew while he was in India how his death will come. Because even in South Africa, he was beaten to death by a Muslim that day. But poor fellow, he was not educated. He almost died twice, but then he died the way he died. Now, this is the end of our presentation, and but if you have any questions or you want to say anything or clarify anything, we'll take a few minutes to do that.